attention, please rise and salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Emergency exits are to my right, behind the town attorney, and also the door who came in. Roll, please.
Supervisor Perotti? Councilpersons Doyle? Gutierrez?
Here.
Morris?
Here.
Samoji? Here.
Public comment?
Public comment.
I'll get the hang of this eventually.
Identify yourself and
Hi, I'm Leo Blackman. I live at 74 Old Route 22 in Wasaik. I just wanted to thank Victoria for, I hope, figuring out a solution to hiring the wastewater engineer because we've been waiting a long time for that, and I understand that at last there's some funds been found in the budget. So I'll look forward to hearing more about that later, but thank you for that.
Is there any other public comment? No, then we'll do the supervisor's report. Water district upgrade. The water operator and the town board are researching places for new wells, and will also be working on a capital plan and asset inventory of the water district, which is required as part of the requirements for the American Rescue Funds to be used for infrastructure improvements. Altice negotiations are in progress. American Rescue Package. Supervisor Perotti attended an informational webinar by the Government Officers Finance Association and also contacted the Association of Towns for a contact to the EPA Region 6 for New York. After contacting the EPA contact by email, I was given additional information about the requirements for using the American Rescue Funds for water infrastructure capital projects, in addition to contact information for the Treasury Department, which administers the program. Eligibility for a project is based on what would be eligible under the Clean Water State Revolving Fund and the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund grants. Highway Garage. The RFP bids were due today and have been received by the town clerk. The town board and the town attorney will have to review them before a winning bid is announced. CDBG Sidewalk Grant. The DOT work permit for the Amenia Post Office area repairs has been received after sending a required $5,000 retainer to the DOT, which will be returned to the town of Amenia after the project is finished. There will be a meeting with the contractor and engineer at the Amenia Post Office at 10 a.m. tomorrow to go over the project. 2022 budget. 2022 budget worksheets have been distributed to all departments and other entities. The Recreation Commission worked on them at their meeting on Tuesday of this week. They are required to be completed by September 8th. A new website, the Town of Amenia new website through a shared services contract with Dutchess County with CIS will go live on September 1st. Town of Amenia COVID-19. The Amenia Town Hall is open for business as usual, Monday through Thursday at regular business hours. New CDC guidance is masks are recommended in substantial or high transmission areas, even if you are vaccinated. Signing the visitor log with contact information is required. COVID-19 vaccine information. Sign up on DutchessNY.gov vaccine info form or call the Dutchess County Coronavirus Information Line at 845-486-3555. Select option 1 to hear the weekly vaccine allocation updates, then select option 2 to be connected to Office of the Aging and be added to the notification list. For anyone who is homebound, vaccine appointments can be made at 845-486-2555 to arrange for a vaccine appointment to be administered at home. Town Clerk report.
Good evening. I present to the board that our July monthly reports, total amount collected for our state county and local revenue was $512.95, with our local share being remitted to the supervisor in the amount of $487.95. It's that time of year. Fall is right around the corner, and what does that mean for Amenia residents? Soccer. So our Weebatuck Valley Youth Soccer League is looking to begin their season here on our fields from September 11th and should run through the end of October. They'll begin setting up their fields usually right after Labor Day weekend, and then they start having their practices. They are looking to have their pictures here at the town hall, just like they did with baseball season, and that will be on, I believe that would be Friday because it's October 16th. Maybe that's the Saturday, October 16th. They are still working with getting the final numbers of who has registered for their insurance to get us our insurance. But today I present this reminder / request to the board, as they've been using the fields since the beginning of time. So if you guys would be so kind to allow the Weebatuck Valley Youth Soccer League to use our fields as they have in the past.
Yeah, I make a motion to allow, the Weebatuck
Valley Youth Soccer League.
to use the field. Is it at Beekman?
It's going to be Beekman Park, yes.
At Beekman Park.
Thank you.
Second.
Dan. Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Council members Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Samoji?
Yes.
Great. And then I am working with Tricia Lawrence on getting the requested information and the insurance, so we'll have it all. I also share with you tonight our vouchers we're submitting and have been audited by the office and presented to you and prepared by Marge in the amount of $186,081.23. The packets are in front of you in your binders tonight, and they are presented and broken down as follows. General Fund A, $128,928.93. Highway Fund, $44,127.22. Amenia Lighting, $1,048.94. Wasake Lighting, $281.28. Amenia Water, $11,694.86, again for a total of $186.81.23. And these were reviewed by 3 of you. I just need authorization for the supervisor to pay.
Pay the claims as submitted.
Doyle.
Second.
Show. Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Samoji?
Yes.
Big project of the last 2 weeks in the town clerk's office, and most recently coming in, the highway garage RFP was advertised, and we've received multiple responses, and I will open them now before the board and our attorney. We've received from Lamont Engineers. You get to be my buddy. We're gonna hold and then put it back. So receiving from Lamont, we have the packet. And in there should tell us cost proposal section all the way to the back. So we have our non-conclusive affidavit. Contact information, tell me they're not going to put it right on the page. Okay, so here they break it out with a schedule of rates with a principal engineer, your project managers. It has all by hourly rate. Cost summary, $183,714. We want to leave that on the top. That's the page.
Sorry, that was who again?
Lamont.
She'll send you a copy of who they all are and the amount, so you have it.
MHENY Engineering. Has the non-conclusive affidavit. Warrants for 8 hours cost of proposal. Again, broken down by hourly rates. Doesn't have the total. It just says, no, that's going to be design proposal. 'Cause it has a fees for reports totaling between 20 and 40, not to exceed. It's not going to be. Not even a total number. And those total every day. Where we were. So their cost proposal, again, it's not exactly the same, but they're just saying overall design, fees, and it includes the reports, it's studies and reports. So they break their firm down by hourly rate.
Okay.
Testing. Delaware Engineering. Old projects, similarities, and some finance time proposal. Not conclusive. There you go. So total cost through Delaware Engineering estimates $459,000. Non-conclusive affidavit, the original. Initial phase summary, lump sum all reimbursements, designed for initial and planning phases, $38,500. Design service, and then they break it down by schematics of your designs and construction administration, up to 122. So they don't have it as a total proposed. And then again, they break it down by their, so it looks like the 122, your SD and your CEs.
122,000
Yeah, so
even?
122,000.
Okay.
Take together.
What company is that?
We have CPL, Architect and Engineering, non-conclusive,
Clark Patterson Lee.
240,000 for a lump sum. LaRocca Green Architects, non-conclusive. 275,000. Lothrop. That's nice. Total, 229,995. Go ahead. Batatola, Lanza Architect Group out of Fishkill. Non-conclusive. President signed. They were broken down by hours. Well, they have a cost of the construction being over. They list the price of the building, but not their fees. We just want their fees. He's presenting multiple other projects. Yeah. The history, experience, resumes. This is other projects that they've done. So they're breaking it down by, let's see, districts. This is just their fees. So they're breaking it down. They do have a list of base fees based off of the construction project. They didn't do it the same. So they have their principal, and then here's the hours, and then reverse what they are. It's not a total number. They give you, you know, what cost of photocopying is, which per page. I'm not seeing service.
So they
fees.
don't have a,
They don't have it broken down as a lump sum.
okay. We can look at it after and
Yeah.
see what it's.
CNS Engineering Companies out of Albany. Five. So they broke it down by conceptual. Yeah, see that goes back and forth. So it's gonna be right there. Not conclusive is present. So based on the information provided to date, they anticipate a result in 124,000 to 154,000 fee, and that's inclusive of the conceptual design. And then there's additional administration, construction administration fees.
Well, that was one of the things we told them they had to include.
Well, yeah, you're supposed to be doing that long distance. I think afterwards, I think we should. Well, I was keeping them, well, we're going to copy them, put the, in case anybody had any questions and wanted to immediately see them after the meeting.
We also have them digitally too.
Labella out of Latham. Cost, section 6. And this is broken down. They have it broken down by hourly rate, what their 2021 billing rate is for all of their titles and positions. And then they do break it down by feasibility studies. They have them broken down here, not as a whole. There's one. So they have potential fees right now looking at 144. But then they do go about per square foot, and then they do say concept feasibility study being billed at an hourly rate, and those fees won't exceed $15,000. And then they're providing us their billing rate fee schedule. No construction, that was just no construction. So in addition to these 10, I did receive a phone call earlier today. I have one company who tried to send it to us by FedEx, and unfortunately they were not able to get it to be delivered on time due to inclement weather, and they noticed that they weren't going to be able to get here. So I told him that the only thing that he could do is he could send me an email showing proof of his attempt that it was being mailed prior to the date and time that it was due. And I didn't open it, nor did I print it until you gave me the okay to
Well, you have to
accept
get
it
the
and
proof
present it.
first.
So that's up to you.
Did he send the tracking info?
Yes, I'm pulling it up. I'm just pulling it up because there was two of them. I also have from Nick Berry. They did do an addendum after the fact, and he acknowledged receipt of. CT Mail has respectfully indicated that they will not be bidding in on this project. And the other one is from Mary M. Grew, but that's not, they are Wendell Architects. They are from Williamsville, New York. And it's a screenshot of it to answer your question, and it shows that it's on its way, and it was said at 8:19, it was at 2 a.m. this morning, and it says, on its way, severe weather conditions have delayed delivery, and that it arrived at the facility in Pennsylvania at 1:11. There is a tracking number. It's very difficult to read. I can show it, send it, but attached to this email is his submission, so I did not print it. So if you tell me I'm allowed to open it, I open it.
So wait, I'm sorry, the tracking history shows it was picked up when?
When was it mailed?
It's very difficult to see. He just says shipment. It doesn't say when it was mailed. It shows that it made the facility at 8:19 at 1:11 a.m.
Today?
So I didn't know.
What
'Cause
was the deadline? Was
1 o'clock this afternoon.
Was 1 o'clock.
Dawn, can you forward me that email?
Yeah, do it right now.
See, I could see it on the picture.
Then you can
If
see
they,
what-
if they gave it to FedEx and it was overnight and it didn't get here because of weather, I feel like we should open it. We've done that previously.
But if they sent it today, hoping it would get here,
Would have went out last night.
No, FedEx wouldn't, I mean, they don't do same-day service, so they would have had to have gotten it to FedEx by whenever their cutoff was yesterday.
Did you see it?
Just got it.
You see how it's a dark picture? And its estimated delivery is Friday.
Hold on, I have a tracking number here, so. Z. It was shipped next day, air early delivery, shipped on the 18th, which was yesterday. Label created on the 18th, dropped off at 4:29 p.m. in Buffalo. So
yesterday?
Yesterday. So they got it to UPS on time. I'd vote that we open it.
I would too.
Okay.
Yeah, if they
So-
put all the work together.
Yeah.
I mean, it took them quite a time to
And the more bids we have that were
put it,
Sent on
put
time,
it
the
together.
So, that's a 60. Responses, keep going. That's the LED concerns, fee notes, license, so just, so I'll have it as a lump sum. See, but it talks about the LED design. So depending if they're gonna do that, it's gonna be an additional, if they're gonna do that, it's gonna be an additional.
They break it down by a number of different services, and each service has its own cost.
Well, why don't we
It's not
just
so-
wait until we
Yeah,
get
so I
it?
mean, it's different, like the emergency services is 35,000. They talk about their cost control of 60,000. They talk about reimbursable expenses they talk about additional work if you're going to be doing seeker and what the range is. It could be between 5 and 10. If you're dealing with LED, it's going to be an additional $90,000 to $120,000. So it's broken down by each part of the project,
Okay.
and not as a lump sum.
Do we need to
for the
vote
project.
to accept it? Ian?
The board can open these now, they're reading out loud, the daily decision on this
Turn
isn't
that on
happening.
for me. Hit the red button. Hit it. Ta-da!
They're just reading it into the record now, the town hasn't made any decision on these, they'll evaluate each
So,
one.
but we're
and
just,
you can-
we don't need to vote to accept it, even though we don't have the, we just have it that, we have
Yeah, they
it,
just
but we
opened it.
don't have the paper, so,
No.
okay, so
I think
that's
for
fine.
these purposes, just
So
reading
we're
it aloud for
accepting the
opening.
bid. Okay.
Can I just ask a procedural question? When we put an RFP out like this, when I respond to a lot of these municipal RFPs in my day job, but a lot of them will say, as long as you've given it to a carrier, a major carrier, and have paid for guaranteed delivery service by the due date, you're fine regardless of when it actually shows up. I don't know if we include that kind of language in our...
Off the top of my head, I don't recall if that language went into this RFP, but essentially the board has full control whether or not they want to accept or deny any of these applications for any non-compliance to whatever requirements or standards were set forth in the RFP. So not having it present would be a basis if the board was so inclined. But for this purposes here, we're just opening and acknowledging that it was sent to
I
the
mean,
board.
we're not choosing
None.
one tonight.
Correct, that's
We have a lot of
correct.
checking out to do.
Yeah.
So with that, there was 11 accepted and 1 who has submitted that they will not be submitting. The other last item that I do have on the town clerk's report is more of an announcement to our public that is watching. Currently, the town of Amenia is seeking applications for Recreation Commission. There are 2 seats on that committee that is vacant, and are, looking for our residents to come out and vote. I give that same speech, I think, the last 3 or 4 meetings we've been here, so I don't want to be that broken record, but if you want to be an active member here at the town and recreation interests you, if you have some great ideas, you want to come give them a helpful hand, Recreation Commission does have those 2 positions. Board of Assessment Review is also having a position. Currently, we have 2 open paid positions, and that is a water treasurer as well as our zoning administrator. So those positions do exist here at the town. As we approach the next 2.5 months, you're going to hear me start talking with the board about our upcoming 2022 positions. That will be inclusive of your zoning board, your planning board. Again, your rec commission will be having a seat that is coming up. So this is the time of year to start thinking. I know we're starting to come back from vacation, and hopefully you guys had a great summer. But now that the school year is coming in, it's always a great time to start thinking about how you can give back to your community as your kids are going away to school, or you got some extra free time. Feel free to come on down and help us here at the Amenia Town Hall. And that will conclude the town clerk's report.
Did you want to do the restriping?
Oh, yeah, you can.
I kind of
You put it
gave
in
that to
there.
you at the last minute,
Yeah, you gave that
but I
right.
don't want to forget it.
You handed it to me, you want to hand that right back to me, and I'll tell you what we got. So for recreation, they had a meeting the other night, you have that right there? No?
Yeah, I put it in your pile. Do you have
Packet.
it?
What a big pile. I know you were in the office and said for me to do it. Can I
You wanna
just
give that
take
to
that
her?
through? So, it's right there. So recreation had, no, that's position. Recreation is looking to go ahead and restripe our basketball courts. There are 2 basketball courts that they're going to be marking with white, and the bid that you guys were able to receive is from JFC LLC Linebackers Pavement Marking. So they are looking to get this done ASAP, and they are proposing this to hereby furnish materials and the labor and complete it in accordance with the above specifications, and that is to lay out and stripe 2 basketball courts, marking will be white, in the sum of $1,800.
He did try to get other bids, and he couldn't, the people wouldn't bid, so he tried 3 other places. But I told him that counts as a bid if you tried to get a bid from a company. So he gave me the list of those people, of those companies.
Do you happen to have them so we can include them in the,
I can give it to you.
great, so
after.
then we'll be able to add that in, that there was 2
I
additional.
can forward you that email.
So with that being said, 3 attempts with 1 successful attempt in the amount of $1,800.
So I make a motion that we accept the bid of $1,800 from JFC LLC Linebackers.
I second the bid. I second the vote.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle? Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Smoji? Great.
Now you're done.
Am I done now? Okay.
Just checking.
You're going to be starting with 42 when you ask.
42. Okay, resolution declaring structure unsafe at 528244 Town of Amenia. We have a memorandum from our building inspector, Michael Singleton, regarding unsafe structures, 31 Tally Ho Drive, Dover Plains, and 5282 Route 44, Amenia, New York. By the Town of Amenia building inspectors, see the structures located at the above noted properties in the Town of Amenia are unsafe as to the current building codes. I notified the town engineer, John Andrews, and met him at both of these locations to properly assess the conditions. John has thoroughly explained the properties via separate memos to specify the problems, and it is his recommendation to have both properties demolished and/or removed. It's my recommendation, it's my jurisdiction, to ask the town board to properly have hearings to undertake the demolition of both structures immediately. Thank you for your consideration and action on these matters. Now, the first resolution is 42.
Yes.
Resolution declaring the structure located at 5282 Route 44 unsafe and ordering the repair or removal. Whereas upon information and belief that the structure located at 5282 Route 44, Amenia, New York, bearing tax map number 132000-7167-13-022397, the structure was unsafe to the public, the building inspector, code enforcement officer of the town of Amenia, caused the town engineer to investigate and prepare a written report determining whether the structure was unsafe and dangerous to the public. Whereas the town engineer conducted a field observation, prepared a written report dated May 21st, 2021, containing his finding that the structure be declared unsafe and recommendation that the owner be ordered to immediately secure and rehabilitate the structure. Whereas the town board of the town of Amenia, after reviewing said report, and after hearing the town of Amenia building inspector, code enforcement officer in regard thereto, and after having duly deliberated upon the same, has determined that the structure be declared unsafe and the owner be ordered to repair and/or remove said structure. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as it fully set forth and adopted herein. That notice be given to Kelly Marino and Christine Tomaszewski, the reputed owners of the structure on the premises located at 5282 Route 44, Amenia, New York, bearing tax map number 132007167-13-022397 in the form required by Section 44-6 of the Town Code of the Town of Amenia. That said notice to be served personally upon Kelly Marino and Christine Tomaszewski, or by registered mail to the last known residents, as shown by the records of the tax collector or of the county clerk, if such persons cannot be reasonably found for such personal service, and by affixing a copy thereof upon said structure. That said notice shall order the owners to commence the necessary and appropriate improvements to make the property safe, prevent further deterioration, to provide a plan and schedule for the proper rehabilitation and restoration of the structure, or, if the structure on the subject property is incapable of being safely repaired, that it be removed from the premises with said removal commencing within 30 days of the service of said notice, to be completed within 60 days thereafter. That a public hearing be scheduled on September 16, 2021 at 7 p.m. at the Town of Amenia, at the Town Hall of the Town of Amenia, located at 4988 Route 22, Amenia, New York, in relation to such dangerous and unsafe structure. That the attorney for the Town of Amenia is hereby directed to prepare said notice and arrange for the service thereof in accordance with the requirements of the local law, and to arrange for the filing of the same in the office of the county clerk. That the building inspector, code enforcement officer, be directed to securely affix said notice upon such structure as required by town code. Can I make that motion?
I second it.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle? Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Simojri?
Yes.
Resolution number 43.
Sorry, quick question. We have to do a public hearing for both of these, right?
Yes,
Do we want to announce when that will be, or we don't know when?
I did. It was in the resolution.
Okay.
It was September 16th.
September 6th. Thanks.
Resolution declaring the structure located at 31 Tally-Ho Drive unsafe and ordering its demolition and removal. Whereas upon information and belief that the structure located at 31 Tally-Ho Drive, Amenia, New York, in the Tally-Ho Mobile Home Park, was unsafe to the public, the Town of Amenia building inspector, code enforcement officer, caused the town engineer to investigate and prepare a written report determining whether the structure was unsafe and dangerous to the public. Whereas the town engineer conducted a field observation and prepared a written report dated May 19, 2021, containing his findings that the structure is dangerous, unsafe, and unfit for its lawful purpose, and his recommendation that the structure be demolished and removed. Whereas the town board of the Town of Amenia, after reviewing said report, and after hearing the Town of Amenia Building Inspector Code Enforcement Officer in regard hereto, and after having duly deliberated upon the same, has determined that the structure is declared dangerous, unsafe, and unfit for its lawful purpose, that the structure be demolished and removed as it is beyond the point of repair or rehabilitation. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as it fully set forth and adopted herein, that notice be given to Carol Anderson, the reputed owner of the structure on the premises located at 31 Tally Ho Drive and the Tally Ho Mobile Home Park in the form required by Section 44-6 of the Town Code of the Town of Amenia. That said notice be served personally upon Carol Anderson or by registered mail to her last known residence, as shown by the records of the tax collector or of the county clerk, if such person cannot be reasonably found for such personal service, and by affixing a copy thereof upon said structure. That said notice shall order the owner to immediately secure the structure and arrange for the structure to be removed from the premises, with said removal commencing within the 30 days of the service of said notice and to be completed within 60 days thereafter. That a public hearing be scheduled on September 16, 2021 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall of the Town of Amenia, located at 4988 Route 22, Amenia, New York, in relation to such dangerous and unsafe structure. That the attorney for the Town of Amenia is hereby directed to prepare said notice and arrange for the service thereof in accordance with the requirements of the local law, and to arrange for the filing of the same in the county and the office of the county clerk. That the building inspector, code enforcement officer be directed to securely affix said notice upon such structure as required by town law. I make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Somogyi?
Yes.
Ian, I got a question, just because if I understand the way Tally Ho's set up correctly, is that residents own the structure but not the land, right?
That's right, that's correct.
How does demolition of a structure work when, I mean, is there any complication because it's not the owner?
It's the owner who owns the actual structure. That's what's being ordered to be removed, demolished, removed. So it's not anything to do specifically with the land, it's the structure.
We don't
So,
need to get like permission to go on that land to demolish it.
the owner.
Well, Mike can answer that for us.
He's running.
He's heading over to the microphone.
Yeah, the owner of the property has no problem having it removed. They've been after me for quite some time to get this far, and I thank the board for working with us and getting this far. So, but Tally Ho does want the trailer out of there. They've been working, trying to add a lot of new ones and fix the place up, and this one is in bad shape. So, Miss Anderson isn't even there. She's in the nursing home at the moment anyway, so. But, you know, my walking through it with the town engineer, it's not a lot, you know, I would not let her back in. There's holes through the floor, and you can see that it's structurally unsafe, so.
Yeah.
So how do we recover the cost to the town of demolishing and removing this home? Normally there'd be a lien on the property, right?
Or levy,
But in this case, we don't have.
yeah, as much as you'd have to levy their
Estate.
estate or the taxes on the,
So how are we going to do that?
that's
Well, we
that
can do
gentleman's.
We'll need to do that. Because I'm assuming this is not an inexpensive effort, or Carol would have done it herself.
Well, she feels she can still live there, that's the problem.
But she wants it removed.
She doesn't, Tally Ho would.
That's why we did this.
Yeah,
We're making her remove it.
I was having trouble keeping her out of it being unsafe.
I mean, we don't want
I've had
anything
to
bad to
post it
happen
and
to
everything
her.
else, so.
This particular structure is in really bad shape. As far as the way the code is structured, the costs of the removal would be assessed to the property. In this instance, it's not property, so I would have to look a little bit further into the code to see if there's an alternative way to do that. I don't recall one specifically, but it would be something that we would have to consider.
I think we need to find out how we're going to recover the funds.
Since it's only a mobile home, it is fairly a small amount to get rid of, but versus the other
And
one
it's one of
is,
the oldest ones there,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, oh, it's
Ancient.
It's
Yeah.
completely,
we've,
you cannot.
in the
have-
70s, we're estimating the year of it, so 78 or something like that, so.
We're not talking a major demolition here.
It is major, yes, it will be major demolition for that particular home. But it's, you cannot, I live in Tally Ho, folks, so I'm not speaking for the owners or anybody else, just me as a resident in Tally Ho and on the board. The home cannot be lived in. There's no water, no electric, so there's no heat. There are no floors. Vermin are living in the place, along with a variety of other interesting creatures. Things are growing up into the walls and stuff. It's a completely, has to be demolished. There's no salvation for this particular home. Not even the frame or anything, if you would think you could, you cannot.
But as owner, she is responsible for demolition, right?
It's her unit. She would be responsible for the
Yes.
demolition of it. If there might be a lease that we could look to that might give us some basis as to where the cost should be assessed and how they can be assessed. But it's a further step we're going to have to take when it comes time to, if
Well,
she doesn't
it-
voluntarily do it herself, then
But we
then
at least need to serve the papers
yeah,
to
absolutely. We have
keep
serve
her
the
out of
tapes,
it,
and
because we
Yes.
certainly don't want her in that structure.
And I do have the name of an attorney that has contacted me on her behalf and everything a couple times,
This
which is
partic-
just doing it as a friend, but.
This particular property really, according to the engineer, is a public safety hazard.
Yes.
It's open to children. It's something that needs to be addressed immediately.
Is Tally Ho at all liable for the condition of unsafe buildings on their physical property?
Well, they're not the owner of it, so they can't go in and destroy someone's property.
Yeah,
I mean,
They don't own
she's
it.
the owner of the unit, so
that's why we,
There's no clause.
there's probably a
No,
lease
that-
of some sort,
Yeah,
I
there's
imagine,
a-
with them renting that space,
yeah,
so.
there's a lease and all of that. That's why we have to go through this court stuff with everything so that all the gray areas can be mapped out. So Tally Ho, the owners of Tally Ho will be able to say what they can and can't do, or be asked or told what they can or can't do, and then take it from there. That's why we're doing this.
Procedurally, in the first
It's a-
instance,
yes.
the town board must declare it unsafe, which is
Yes.
what this is doing. And then there's going to be an order in place from the town board saying that it's her responsibility to do this. If after that, then there's procedures that will take place after that if she does not. So at this point now, procedurally, we're declaring the property unsafe, we're ordering a removal, and
Which is our responsibility to do.
Yes.
I mean, that's something
your
as a town
capability under the town
that
code.
we need to do.
And Tally Ho works with me all the time anyway, so
Yes.
I think when it comes down to it, they'll help us in any way they can to get it removed as well, so.
Okay.
Any questions on the other one while I'm here?
Also unoccupied, I'm assuming?
Yes, for the last 2 or 3 years, we've actually gone and had
We've been
work
working
done.
for her.
Mowing because of the high grass, channeled water so it doesn't flood the neighbors. So we've,
And we re-levied those costs.
yes.
We got it back through the taxes.
I've been talking with her for over a year. She's told me she's been gonna take it down. And we got as far as the asbestos report, and I think she found out the cost, what that was gonna be, so. And I don't even think we're gonna have to figure the whole place is friable, because the basement's been full of water for I don't know how many years now. So I got my doubts whether it's even safe walking on the floors now, to try to do an asbestos abatement of the building, so.
Have they been paying their taxes then?
That I'm not,
Taxes are paid up?
they've been somewhat, I believe. I don't know if they're up to date at the moment, so.
Well,
Because I know she complained a year ago when we levied the work against her, so.
well,
But-
we sent her a letter telling her we were going to do it, but
Right,
the poor people next door, all the water from her property was going there, and they had rats the size of cats.
I send warning letters every time to do it by a certain date,
Uh-huh.
and when she does not respond, that's when we try to do it.
Then she gets her tax bill and she shows up. But, if it's one way to get her attention, just make her pay the bill. But that's a really unsafe building, and we certainly don't want, any kids getting in there and getting hurt. But we needed to take this action to move it forward.
And I thank the board for doing it. Because I only can go so far.
Okay, did we finish the vote, or? Okay. Resolution number 44. We did have a repair done on the highway garage roof. They repaired 8 holes that were in the roof, but it's leaking on one side. And what they need to do now is to install 2 one-way aluminum vents above the leak location, and they need to seal all around the vents, so that, because the water is only coming in one place, it's coming in along the wall. I mean, the repair they did before took care of the water that was coming down the light fixtures and causing a real dangerous situation, but it needs additional repair. Resolution authorizing emergency roof repairs at the Town of Amenia Highway Garage. Whereas the Town of Amenia is the owner of certain real property located in the Town of Amenia, New York, identified as 8 Borden Lane, Wassaic, New York, tax grid number 716501043740. Whereas the Town of Amenia Highway Garage is located on the premises. Whereas by resolution number 11 of 2021, the town board approved emergency repairs to the highway garage, which included fixing leaks in 8 separate locations, which were permitting water to infiltrate the building and come in contact with equipment and electrical current breakers, creating potential fire hazards and other dangerous and hazardous conditions. Whereas a recent field inspection of the highway garage roof was conducted on July 21st, 2021 by Precision Roofing Incorporated at the request of the town supervisor. Whereas the inspection revealed additional leaks in the roof, permitting water to infiltrate the building, causing a potential fire hazard and other dangerous and hazardous conditions. Whereas corrective measures must be immediately undertaken to cure the aforementioned dangerous and hazardous conditions and address the roof leaks. Whereas Nick D. Matteo, president of Precision Roofing Incorporated, has recommended to the town supervisor that repair measures must be performed to the roof to prevent leaking and further deterioration and damage. Whereas the town has determined there are sufficient funds to pay for such corrective emergency measures. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The recitations above set forth are incorporated in this resolution as it fully set forth and adopted herein. The following town officers and/or employees and/or professionals are hereby directed to take whatever steps are needed and to coordinate whatever repair work is required to repair the highway garage roof and the aforementioned dangerous and hazardous conditions. Town supervisor, town building inspector, code enforcement officer, town clerk, and attorney to the town. The town board authorizes the payment for such repairs from the garage CE maintenance budget line in accordance with the Precision Roof Incorporated proposal annexed hereto. The Town of Amenia procurement policy is hereby suspended for the purposes of making such emergency repairs, purchases, and expenditures to address the dangerous and hazardous conditions associated with the roof at the highway garage. Is there a motion?
Yeah, there was a document that was annexed to this resolution that didn't belong there,
No.
right? I don't know where that
It's
came from.
accidentally stapled there.
Okay. I'll make the
A
motion.
standalone appraisal request.
Is there a second?
Oh, I second.
Okay.
Discussion.
Okay.
So the last time we dealt with this leak was in January of this year.
Yes. There were 8 holes they repaired.
Yeah, I've got so the price that was quoted by Precision was $14,800 at that point. I'm just trying to see if there was a warranty of the work. I mean, it seems like it started to leak again within less than a year.
But it isn't leaking where they repaired it. It was another place. That's why they're putting the vents in. This isn't work that they did that they didn't do right or finish.
It's not the same work.
No.
Different work.
I mean, we decided not to do the whole roof, so, because we thought we could address the problem just by doing the 8 leaks. But there was another area that we didn't know until we got the heavy rains.
Okay.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Smoji?
Yes.
Okay, I asked you to bring your American Rescue package so that we're going to have to make some decisions about how we're going to handle the funds. I've been attending more webinars and talking to and got information about where to look in the Treasury. The EPA seems to have a lot of information about this, and the other webinars I've gone to, but the bottom line is that what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put together an actual capital project plan for just to address the infrastructure issues at the water district, some of which is the pump house in the wetland that will eventually need to be taken down because our town engineer recommended we not replace it there. And we also need to look for wells. The other webinar I've gone to and the other information I've gotten, we also have to do an asset inventory of the water district. There's a report due the end of October, but we don't have to have the work done by then. We can just put in the report that we're creating a capital plan and doing the asset inventory and just, tell them what steps we've taken, to use the monies. So, I wanted, we need to, I've been meeting with the water operator to see, because he does have a company and does have some of the people that we can use to do some of this work. But I think it should be overseen by our town engineer so that, he can oversee what work is done and we can see what order that the work needs to be done. One of the other things we need to do besides do a capital plan for the immediate work needs to be done, we really need to do a long-range capital plan for the water district, because we already know that the water tank is insufficient because people on Depot Hill have pressure problems. From what I understand, I believe that we're going to need a new water tank eventually, but it's not a storage water tank, it's a pressure water tank that would have more pressure so that the people on Depot Hill won't have to install pumps in their house in order to have adequate water pressure. So there's a lot to be done, but I wanted to go ahead, and I was going to, be meeting with the water operator and, work on a plan that, we can start discussing and seeing what steps, the next steps we want to take.
So the question about the two things, the asset inventory, that doesn't seem, well, I don't know, what all is entailed there and how
I don't know, I have to find out.
Okay.
But they said, however way you were going to use the funds, you have to have a capital plan. So
Right.
you have to have it all laid out. But the asset inventory, I just found out about this week. So I'm not really sure about that. I'm going to, check with the Treasury to see, because I haven't actually talked to someone at the Treasury yet. I've just talked to, there's a very helpful person who is the Region 6 New York person for the EPA, because a lot of what you can do with your capital plan is based on what the eligibilities are in the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund and the Clean Water State Revolving Fund, because I have the eligibility handbooks for both of them. And so that's so that we have an idea of what we can do. But it's, the way they have it spelled out is that it's planning. You do planning that will lead to a capital project to use the infrastructure funds.
So as far as a capital plan, in 2018, Marco and his partner put together a pretty detailed document. I don't know if that was comprehensive enough to qualify as a capital plan. I don't know if there are additional requirements, but, they came in, they presented to us for a good
Right, yeah, I
45
have
minutes.
that. I have that. So we can kind of use that as a basis. It's a starting point. At least we have that to start with, and then see where we go from there. But,
I've done a request for proposals for the capital project plan and had people, all kinds of engineering companies submit their recommendations for how they would go about doing a long-term capital plan, weighing all of the various important projects that will need to be undertaken over X amount of time and how to prioritize that. Those bids came in, or those requests for proposals came in. We interviewed several of the engineering firms. It was evaluated by our town engineer, helping us understand which was the best. So I would wonder why we don't go back to that and hire somebody to do a real evaluation of the status of the water district. It is, there are a lot of serious issues facing this water district. Aging infrastructure, pipes that are various sizes, Band-Aids that have been made. And I thought Aaron of Ty and Vaughn did a great job explaining how she's done it for other towns and the checklist and the way that she would tackle it. It seemed like we were very close to it then, and now we actually have funds to do a comprehensive outside group that would look at it and has specific experience with water districts and wastewater districts. Frankly, it's probably going to be the same geographic boundary, but I think that the
No, it
more we
won't.
can hone in on.
we can't use
I'm talking
the
just
pump
about
house.
The water district.
The
I
water
think we
district
can't
is the
use
pump
it as an
house.
engineer.
On Lavelle, we can't do anything there.
That's a part of the whole picture.
I know.
But the pressure, the aging infrastructure, the lines, the Band-Aiding that we've done to try and keep all of these pipes from leaking, the flow, the circulation, and the end pipes that they want to relink, it was all looked at very carefully, and we never did anything with it. We didn't actually go forward. Now that we have money, I think we should revisit that and take a look at some of the recommendations that these engineering firms proposed. And actually, it's Soika did a great job helping us evaluate the different firms and did a numbering system to help us understand which ones would have scored higher and lower. I can go back and find that.
You don't have to find it, we have it.
Okay.
Okay,
I don't
so,
know why we wouldn't go back to that and continue on with the work that we've already done.
Because things have changed.
The underlying.
So we would need to have,
We haven't really made any major improvements to that.
I know we haven't, but the whole idea is we can do a full plan,
Yeah.
but we need to assess what needs to be done now and long-term.
Right.
so I would agree that we should get an expert to advise us on this. Marco, who runs our water district, has put together a prioritized plan for how he would spend money if he had any money in the water district, which we haven't had any money in that water district for repairs.
Well,
or improvements.
one of the problems is that, I mean, there are water grants out there, but a lot of the water grants are water quality grants, and there's nothing wrong with our water quality. Our water quality is quite good.
So just about the capital plan and how we get it together so that we can take advantage of the ARP funds. Victoria, you suggested we engage Marco. You suggested we also engage Soika to coordinate with Marco. Vicky suggesting we engage Ty and Bond or somebody else. As long as we're not hiring 3 people to
Well,
do
we're
the
not
same
gonna hire
thing,
3
then
people.
it's just hire one person whose job it is. And if it's an independent engineering firm, if it's our engineer
The only
who's
thing with
on
using
retainer
a
already.
independent engineering firm, they're going to have to work with the water operator anyway.
Correct.
I think we all, speaking at least for myself, but it's my impression that we all have a lot of faith in our water, in our engineer, and John
Andrews.
John Andrews has been with the town for a long time. He's looked particularly at the Lavelle Road problem that is the most urgent. So we take his advice. He knows, he did the evaluation of the other firms, and if he has, I believe he will be honest in saying, look, the better choice is one of these firms that you have looked at in the past, or I can do it with Marco's help. So I would just go with John Andrews' recommendation.
Okay, so let's talk to John then.
So why don't we just schedule him for our next meeting,
So that sounds great.
That's fine.
and we'll put him on the agenda,
So
okay?
for the water district then and ARP funds, we need to put an asset inventory together and a capital plan together.
Yes.
We're going to talk to John about the capital plan, the asset inventory.
And we can, they actually give you to 2024 to complete it. But we're not going to get the other 50% of the funds till next year anyway.
So, okay, that's the water district. Anything further there?
No.
The local fiscal recovery funds document, the Q&A that you circulated, was very helpful, I thought, outlining what we could spend money on and what we could not. One of the interesting things, I think, was that special purpose units, so special districts, are will not be receiving funds from the federal government, but a local government may transfer funds to a special purpose unit of government.
Yeah, it has to be an established special district, like the water district is.
We have a couple of those, right? So we have both fire districts, we're talking about buying them new generators as emergency centers. Did we do that already? Or is that all done? That seems like an easy win that we could accomplish. And permitted use of those
We need
funds.
a generator at the water district.
Okay, that seems like it would also qualify pretty quickly. And the other question I had is we do not have an ambulance special district.
No, we don't.
We don't. Currently,
No,
we don't.
no, we don't.
We don't, I know.
No, we contract, that's why we contract.
Right. But we, as the town board, could create a special district. Meaning,
I don't believe so.
we can.
We
can
Well, why
try.
would we
But
want
then
to?
we would then need to administer.
We'd have to
our
fund
own
it.
Ambulance.
We do fund it.
Like we do
Today.
the water district. We run and operate a water district. We would then be responsible for running an ambulance service.
Which we are doing today, right?
No, we
And that's-
contract it out and somebody else does it.
You can
They
cut
do the
this,
billing, they do everything.
we
And
contract
If
out the
you
water
have-
district.
if you have a-
operation. It would be the same, excuse me one second. So we, I mean,
we have difficulty right now with billing a water district.
we wouldn't, I'm not proposing that we take on the billing that NDP currently does. I'm just saying that if we had, currently the 300,000 or whatever it is that we pay annually for our ambulance service comes out of the town general fund, right?
Yes.
So if we had a special district that was tasked with contracting ambulance service in the same way that we do today, then theoretically you could use funds from ARP to pay for that.
But it
That's my
wouldn't,
question.
but an ambulance district, we looked into that when we were, before we did the contract, actually sent out the RFP for the contract for the ambulance companies. And in an ambulance district, you have to pay the people who work in it. That includes salary, that includes retirement, that includes benefits.
Well, we don't pay Marco's salary
Yes.
benefit because we contract it out. I wouldn't propose that we
We
staff,
pay him a salary,
I mean, he's a contractor though.
right.
Right, so we don't pay him benefits and all that. I'm not proposing that we go and start our own ambulance service. I'm not proposing that. I'm not proposing changing the contracting out of the ambulance. I'm just proposing that we create a special district to pay NDP.
For 1 year,
No, for,
we have to spend this money out by 2024. So we create
I
a
could-
district just to do the funding through 2024?
I actually have information from working on that ambulance problem for a year about how to set up an ambulance district, because we worked with a special attorney in Syracuse, and I can go dig that up and give you the information.
Okay.
If you would like to see it.
that would be helpful. I mean, from my perspective, Vicki, we're paying for it every year anyways. Whether we're doing a transfer to a special district that then pays NDP, or if that special district is eligible for funding or grant opportunities that we may not be eligible for, if we're just hiring a contract, that's all.
I would say that, yes, Victoria is right. We did a full study between the three towns, right? And
Yes.
we looked at the opportunities that would be a potential way of saving money. And one of them is setting up your own district and running it yourself. Another way is to create a district and create an outside, some kind of a nonprofit where you avoid paying your EMTs,
Benefits.
benefits that eat into your overall costs, and it's convoluted and complicated, but it has been done successfully in a few towns in New York State. So it's a big lift for the little town of Amenia.
Actually, it's done in Connecticut in several towns.
But they had an example in New York of a small town that had done a nonprofit arm of the government that operated
Could
the
be.
ambulance, hired their own people.
Because we looked at everything.
Okay, we're gone down the
Yeah,
rabbit hole here.
big.
I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just saying, don't change what we're doing today at all. Still contract NDP, but have the special district pay NDP. That's all I'm saying. Right? That's it. But fine, if that's too complicated, no problem. We don't have to talk about that anymore. The other
I
thing,
think creating a special district is very complicated.
It is, it takes a long time.
It's not a small undertaking for the same wash. I mean, if you're going to pay him $335,000 now, and then you're still going to pay him $335,000, but we're going to use some of our funds for it. But there's so many other uses for this American Rescue Funds.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
I'm
not suggesting any amounts or percentages of what we get for any of these things. I'm just making a list of stuff we could do.
Okay.
So I mentioned the fire districts. It's stuff that we could do that's permitted that we can do, right? The last thing was broadband, and so the requirement here is that projects must be designed to serve unserved or underserved households, defined as those that are not currently served by a wireline connection that delivers at least 25 megabits per second download speed and 3 megabits per second of upload speed. Technically, by the FCC map of broadband coverage here in Amenia, we are covered, at, we're considered covered. So there wasn't a ton of detail in there, and I don't know, they said you could also use funds for cybersecurity programs, digital literacy training. I don't know if you, in your conversations, got any more detail on eligibility in that area of...
No, because I kind of was zeroed in when I saw water infrastructure, kind of zeroed in on that, knowing the desperate need we have in that area.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Marco has been asking for investment to make repairs for as long as I've been on this board, so. But just outlining what our options are and what we are permitted to spend money on, in case anybody has any alternate ideas.
Can we talk about wastewater?
Yes,
What's the wastewater please here?
I know, I've got it here, I'm just waiting.
Let's go.
Resolution number 45 of 2021, transfer of funds for August 2021. Whereas the town board has the authority to transfer funds when necessary unanticipated to amend the budget. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing expense line 71104.01 Amenia Park CE by $2,000 and decreasing expense line 73104.01.095 Youth Program CE Connie Mack by $2,000 for additional recreation maintenance expenses. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing expense line 6510401.084 Veteran CE VFW by $116.89 and decreasing expense line 75104.01 Historian CE by $116.89 for additional graveside flags. Whereas budget amendment increasing 599 general fund appropriated fund balance by $87,600, increasing expense line 13554.01.044 Assessor CE Certiorari's by $20,000, increasing expense line 14204.01 Attorney CE by $20,000, increasing expense line 14404.01 Engineering CE by $10,000, increasing expense line 80204.01 Planning CE Special Land Use Attorney by $20,000, increasing expense line 80204.01.103 Planning CE Wastewater Engineering by $17,600 for unanticipated legal and other expenses. Whereas budget amendment increasing 599 water fund appropriated balance by $26,857.91, increasing expense line 83202.06 source power pump equipment by $12,891.15, increasing expense line 83406.06 transmission distribution by $11,466.76, increasing expense line 83304.06.117, purification, CE laboratory by $2,500 for unanticipated water district repairs, meter replacement, and other expenses. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board authorizes the transfer of necessary budget lines to process the transactions, and I make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Somogyi?
Yes.
What I up to 46? Resolution number 46 of 2021, approving proposal for engineering services from Ty and Bond Engineering and Landscape Architecture, PC, to conduct wastewater feasibility study. Whereas in 2012, the town of Amenia conducted a wastewater feasibility evaluation to determine the feasibility of providing wastewater service to businesses and residents within the hamlet area of Amenia. Whereas the town of Amenia Wastewater Committee is revisiting the feasibility of providing wastewater service to businesses and residents in the hamlet area of Amenia, and hereby requests an update to the 2012 wastewater feasibility evaluation. Whereas the town board of the town of Amenia would like to retain the services of Ty and Bond Engineering and Landscape Architecture, PC, to conduct a wastewater feasibility study and update the 2012 wastewater feasibility evaluation pursuant to the terms of the annexed proposal. Whereas pursuant to 6 NYCRR Part 617.5C24, information collection, including basic data collection and research, border quality and pollution studies, traffic counts, engineering studies, survey, subsurface investigation, and soil studies that do not commit the agency to undertake, fund, or approve any Type 1 or unlisted action is not subject to review under seeker. Whereas the preparation of the updated wastewater feasibility study did not commit the town to undertake, fund, or approve any action listed in 6 NYCRR Part 617 as a Type 1 or unlisted action, whereas the town board has determined that there are sufficient funds to pay the anticipated budget for the study in the amount of $17,600, which will be paid from the budget line 80204.01.103, Planning CE Wastewater Engineering, whereas the town of Amenia has applied for the New York State DECFC Engineering Planning Grant for funding for this engineering study, and any monies received pursuant to said grant will be used to reimburse the costs incurred by the town in connection with the feasibility study. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as if fully set forth and adopted herein. The Town of Amenia Town Board hereby finds that the preparation of a wastewater feasibility study is a Type 2 action and not subject to review under seeker. 6 NYCRR Part 617. The Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby approves the proposal from Ty and Bond to prepare a wastewater feasibility study pursuant to the annexed proposal. The Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby authorizes the Town Supervisor to execute the annexed proposal from Ty and Bond to conduct and prepare a wastewater feasibility study. The Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby authorizes a payment for said engineering services from the budget line 80204.01.103, Planning CE Wastewater Engineering, in accordance with the annexed proposal. The Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby authorizes and directs any money received from the DECFC Engineering Planning Grant to be used to reimburse any and all expenses paid to Ty and Bond pursuant to this resolution. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Damian. Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Somogyi?
Yes.
What I'll do is I will let Karen Moore know that the town board has voted on the proposal, send her a voucher so that she can complete it and send it in. And I'll sign it and we'll, send her a check.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Town board comments? Actually, before we start town board comments, I wanted to read this, what I received today. We've advertised it on local channel 22. Assembly member Dee Dee Barrett is partnering with Hudson River Housing and Legal Services of the Hudson Valley to help you apply for and learn about Emergency Rental Assistance Program, known as ERAP. ERAP, which was passed as part of this year's budget, helps eligible New Yorkers impacted by COVID-19 pay rent and utility costs. When appointments are available, Tuesday, August 24th, appointments are available Tuesday, August 24th between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. at the Northeast Community Center, 51 South Center Street, Millerton, New York, 12546. Email Gunnar Warden, W-O-R-D-O-N, at wordong.ad106@gmail.com or call 518-828-1961 to RSVP. Okay, is there any other town board comments?
I have some. I apologize, I didn't realize by calling it a town board report, I needed to provide all the town board members with a copy of that. So I will do that in the future. So this is my town board comments. The skateboard park, Chris May is eager to install the 2 donated ramps from Millerton to the eastern unused side of the basketball courts on East Main Street. The striping of the courts will not interfere with the permanent placement of the, permanent placement of the ramps, and he is researching with Annette Culligan the vendors that might provide us with a 3-foot tall metal quarter pipe, which is what he thinks would be the perfect third component of this mini skate park. He's checking with other towns to see what vendors they've used, because they seem to have a difficult time finding the appropriate equipment for municipal use. Wooden ramps, I understand, don't hold up well because of our climate, so he does not want, he prefers metal or concrete. I suggest that we go ahead and have him install the 2 free ramps. He's eager to get started, kids are eager to get on.
We can't do that yet.
And what do we need to do next?
I contacted Jen Nijak, and they actually voted on giving it to us. So I'm waiting for her to send me the paperwork.
I thought that was all, they didn't need any paperwork when I spoke to the town clerk.
We need it.
Okay.
We need it
So,
for our records.
You're following up on that?
Yeah, I already did. She assigned it to someone in her office to send it to me.
Okay,
And the other thing we need to do is we need to have Mike inspect it.
That's not something I would know where to start inspecting.
You can borrow my skateboard.
Yeah.
You want to test it out?
The playground equipment, that company always comes and looks at it. They have the liability behind them to look at it. I think whoever the village had always installed.
Yeah, can you just check,
Well,
can you just check with the village to see who
they've
they,
been closed for the last week and a half, so
I know, but,
it's hard to get in.
but Jen is answering her email because she answered me today. But just check with Jen and see who approved it,
Yeah.
based on,
I know we have somebody every so often come at the playground equipment and do that. I think it's probably,
but I think if you talk to whoever approved it
yeah,
at the village,
that was a couple terms ago, that's been there for a little while.
Yeah, well, she can let, I mean, she would, somebody on the, one of the trustees would know, because I'm sure Dave Sherman probably knows. Just to find out, you know, who, you know, just so we're covering our bases.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
then,
don't feel comfortable myself looking.
So, I think Poughkeepsie and Rob Rolliston, the mayor, have a skateboard park down by Werris Park, down on the Hudson. It may be that they're our closest municipality who has operated that, and they are concerned with some of the equipment there from their Facebook page. It looks like they need some repairs done. So they might already know who is advising them for the safety of the equipment.
Yeah.
But it seems like we need to get going on.
I can reach out to Gary Beck, he was part of the,
and do we need a resolution to accept it?
I think in this instance, the town board should have a resolution accepting the equipment that is being donated from Millerton, yeah.
Okay, so once I get the paperwork from Millerton, I'll send it to you, and you can do the resolution,
Yes.
and we'll do it. Because, I mean, we still have to wait for the striping to happen anyway.
He says the striping won't affect it, but the reality is hopefully the striping will go on anyway and just get done. And
No,
we'll-
there's striping can go ahead and get done,
Yeah.
but we need to do what we need to do.
Right. So all of that is happening.
Yes, it's happening now.
So the other thing I would
Talked to
suggest
Jen.
we do is get the sign underway. Is that something you were going to do? You had a sign that you had made up for the rail.
I need to know
station.
what needs to go, what you want on it.
So I had proposed a sign that was proposed by Chris from that's a very simple skate park rules, but we would have to include basketball court and skate park rules. I think I provided in my last report, but it would basically say basketball court and skate park rules at the top.
Well, can you just give me a copy of it? Because what I can do is send it to the company we used
Yep.
to get the sign for the rail trail.
But it should
And
be
then
more
what
visible.
yeah, but they'll do,
Not so tiny.
no, they ask you what size you want.
Okay, not tiny.
No.
We should probably have two, one at either entrance, I mean, there's the entrance on Main
Yes.
Street, but then you can also come
I would
in on the
agree.
trail on the back.
Two,
But I'll send you that information, and you can decide how big you want it. Because they have all different sizes. And actually, this company was recommended to me by Nymer
okay,
that we use for the rail trail.
okay, so.
Has the insurance company reviewed these rules
The
as well?
insurance company suggested that we have a sign, and I will go back to the conversation that we'd had back and forth. At the time, he was asking about fencing all the way around and all kinds of other things. So we didn't get 110%, but he might have that risk assessment guy. I could run that by him. He was very knowledgeable about skate parks in particular. He is our agent for Nymer. He does the risk assessment. I mean, he could possibly come out and look at it, although he said he didn't need to even come out to look at the basketball court.
I
He
just,
said it was fine. I showed him photos and stuff like that, but he might be the one also that could say, here's your next step. Don't forget to blah, blah, right?
I think it would be wise to have
Hang a sign, make
insurance
sure
review
it's
the
blah,
sign,
blah.
particularly for each, if you're going to split up the signs and they're going to be specific areas or placement of the signs, how they should be. I mean, they have a whole risk mitigation department, which I think would be very helpful for that purpose.
Okay.
Okay.
But as soon as I get the documentation from Jen, I'll send it on to Ian.
And I will send a sample parks, basketball, skate park rules to this risk assessment fellow who has worked with us in the past.
In fact, I'll send you the information on the sign people, and you can decide what you want to do with it. Because it's compliant signs, and they were recommended to me by Nymer. It's
Okay.
what they tell their customers.
Okay.
So
then-
Sorry, Vicky, before you move on, what are we going to do to inspect the equipment? I didn't catch what the action item was.
We do need to have I'm going to talk to Rick, and you're going to talk to the guys
I'll talk
that
to
you know.
Gary back to the kids,
Yeah. And then I just wondered who's going to follow up with JFC LLC linebackers, the striking of the basketball.
I'll email Chris Milano tonight and tell him that we approved it, and he'll go ahead and he'll go forward with it.
And get the insurance and all of that on file before they start work.
The insurance, I already sent it to Byron
Okay.
and told him to put it into place.
Okay. So back to Stacy Mantle, 61 Perry Corners Road, had some comments she'd like to share. Our county executive, Mark Molinaro, has posted a lengthy video on Facebook encouraging safety, masking, and vaccinations. After taking the laborious Cornell class on COVID-19, I implore the town board to require masking upon entry to town hall, regardless of vaccination status. The truth is, people can carry the virus, even if they are double vaccinated. Watching the last town board hearing, it was concerning to me that there is not enough distance between our elected officials. If the window and doors are closed, there is no proper ventilation to disperse the load of any live virus that may circulate between people present. Some people go into panic mode when they test positive for COVID, even after being vaccinated, e.g. Governor Abbott, which weighs on our already strained local hospitals. That's courtesy of Stacy Mantle. Rick?
Can I just ask, shouldn't that happen during public
I'm
comment?
sorry, I wasn't prepared to provide that. I couldn't find it on my phone.
Oh, no, I'm just like, does,
She said either one was fine.
okay, I'm
And
just,
I do apologize, I did try and find it, but I wasn't quite fast enough. It
But-
would have
She was
gone
here.
to public comment.
she was here.
She was?
Yeah.
Yeah, she left.
So she didn't do it during public comment? Well, she chose not to.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't see her.
I just, when we are delivering public comment on behalf of the public, it implies a certain possible endorsement that maybe is,
It's just a courtesy that I am relaying her comments, which she relayed to me for some reason, rather than choosing to do
Looked
public
like
comment.
she felt uncomfortable in here.
Yes, she
Maybe
is
too many people
concerned
wear.
about wearing masks. And in fact, the Enhancement Committee, she asked me particularly if we are to meet at Town Hall, which we are, she asked that the people attending the Enhancement Committee wear masks. And those who are not comfortable, I offer you the opportunity to call me ahead of time, and I will try to get you to participate virtually by our Teams software. So you can participate here at the Town Hall, in the auditorium, tomorrow at 5:30 in our Enhancement Committee meeting, or contact me at 845-489-7826, and I will send a link so that you can participate. I believe that will meet all of the open meetings laws, unless I'm wrong.
Well, Ian will let you know if you're wrong.
So the Enhancement Committee meeting is tomorrow. There's yoga on the South Lawn on Saturday, August 21st at 10 a.m. and on Tuesday, August 31st at 6 p.m. right here at the Town Hall, out on the lawn. It's free. No registration is required. Courtesy of Amenia Yoga. And they are very good for people of all capabilities and all ages, I'll just say. It was fun, and they are a delight. It's two instructors. I think both of their names are
Sarah. Yes.
Sandy or Sarah?
Sarah.
Sarah.
And if they need to come in, they can use the room upstairs.
for rain.
So in case of rain, we are not going to cancel.
No, we can go to the gym. There's
You
plenty
can
of room.
use the gym if no one's in the gym, but if The gym is otherwise occupied. There is a room upstairs that has been used for dance
The
and...
dance room.
The dance room.
Nice and quiet.
I
Could-
will be there on Saturday, on Tuesday. Hopefully, somebody else of the town board will be able to open up.
When?
Unfortunately, I can't.
Tuesday, August 31st is the other free yoga session. in
What
a-
time? When?
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. what day?
The 31st.
Tuesday.
And
Tuesday,
we'll be,
August 31st.
we're going to be announcing, and I'm so sorry, the gym is going to be occupied from 3 to 6. We're having our return of our school supplies. I neglected to
Oh.
make mention, we're going to, it was great, they had 20 people today, so we're going to be using the gym that day. So if it is inclement weather,
They could go upstairs.
somebody will just have to bring them upstairs, whoever's coming.
Well,
So, just a minute, the school supplies that they gave out today,
Yes.
they're going to come back again on the 31st?
Yes.
Are they going to come back at the same times as they did
From 3 to 6 p.m.
from 3 to 6 p.m. this
They're going to
time?
be in the gym, yes. So unfortunately, they didn't hand them all out. Last time they
That-
had abundance of
Yeah.
folks. So this time they do have a lot of extra supplies, so the students are able to come back. The parents, one parent can come back and
And get
try
the
to limit
supply.
the number of
okay,
people.
and when will they be here?
Tuesday,
Okay.
August 31st, from 3 till 6 p.m.
Can we put that on, could you give that to me?
I have it. I have a bunch of notices from today that have to go to Mike.
3,
We've heard many of them tonight.
school supplies, yes.
Yeah. Snail mail, it's coming. Sorry, but
So also this Saturday, in addition to yoga at 10 o'clock, there is, at 7:30 in the morning, we're going to meet, anybody's welcome, but it's primarily Enhancement Committee. It's going to meet at Fountain Square, and we're going to tackle some of the weeds that are growing between the bricks. We've done a few sessions, and we're continuing on. We're going to be pruning and deadheading and tidying up and watering the flowers at Fountain Square. If anybody wants to join us at 7:30, we'd love the company.
Not me.
No more poison ivy, huh?
No more poison ivy.
Rec Commission, there's 2 seats available, you already said that. What else? We went to a Rec Commission meeting last night. Was that last night?
Tuesday.
Tuesday night. And they expressed unanimous support for hiring a landscape architect or somebody of that qualification to look at the town-owned parks in Amenia for potential areas that could offer a pavilion and volleyball and some other recreational opportunities. So expand it to more increased opportunities and outdoor socializing. They would use their recreation savings account to help put together a plan, which would also help them understand what they want to do with their recreation savings account money. They can't just enjoy a healthy balance. They need to know what it is that they are going to use their funds for. So that would be a part of a planning process that they would like to look at for offering greater opportunities in Amenia. I think that's it. Thank you.
Are there any other town board comments?
I just have a question, and I guess it's for Ian, but I've been advising the committees and groups that I liaise with that we are not allowed to meet virtually anymore, and that has been an inconvenience for some, and it has,
You're not allowed?
well, per open meeting law,
no.
we're not allowed to meet
Oh,
virtually
I
anymore.
don't think
was
there's,
my-
I think the executive order expired.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to meet under under the prior conditions where it was made much, much easier.
Correct.
The In order to do it now, it would have to be properly noticed. Anybody who was appearing remotely would have to be, you'd have to disclose their location or give notice of their location. It would have to be a public, but yeah, I mean, if you remember the old rules,
Yeah.
it's extremely difficult to do.
As long as somebody was present here at Town Hall and it was properly noticed that your enhancement committee meeting was this date and time, then you could have a laptop and a way for somebody to virtually participate. As
If
long
they
as
say
one
where they
person
are.
was here.
Correct, you'd have to properly notice where they were going to be. It has to be a public place.
Yeah.
All those same old rules would still apply, but it would have to
So
be
for your
noticed ahead of time.
members, so your members,
Right.
not you as you as your liaison, a member on that committee is looking to attend from her home. In the notice, we're putting blah, 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 Perry Corners Road.
I see.
So if I want to go to blah, 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 Perry Corners Road, I can sit on the couch next to her and watch her participate in this meeting that she is part of.
I see.
When you guys are
I see.
somewhere else, or, you know,
Yeah, like I
And then the
had to
debate
join.
over whether or not her home is actually a public place.
is it, you know, handicapped accessible? I mean, there's a lot of rules.
Well, that's why I-
For our meeting,
Yeah.
and you must wear, you know, if somebody's uncomfortable being in an indoor situation for a meeting, then I
Well,
believe
that's
it's
why-
our prerogative to say that all of our members for this particular meeting should wear a mask. Otherwise, it's going to mean some of them cannot participate, which is not terribly.
Well, that's why I recommended the auditorium, because they can spread out in there.
Well, spread out, I think indoor, her recommendation was to have masks, and.
Well, they can wear a mask and they can still sit 6 feet apart in there.
So
I
last
mean,
night
it's
when
a
we
big
met for the
room.
ambulance meeting, the auditorium is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So one was in the first row, one was in the next row. I mean, we literally sat
Yeah, and the.
distance
And the
apart.
two owners of the ambulance, had them at a table on, you know,
And
in
we were all
chairs.
very far apart. So, I mean, the auditorium is huge. So when we say to meet in the auditorium, it doesn't necessarily mean in the back of the auditorium at a round table. It means in the auditorium.
In the auditorium.
Okay,
And then you can just spread out there.
I recognize that there's still concern about gathering indoors without question, and that's legitimate. But I've just been advising the boards that I liaise with that the sort of old way of meeting virtually is no longer permissible. I wanted to make sure I wasn't giving them bad information for starters, but it has come at increased cost of difficulty for meeting.
right.
I'll add to that just to,
I wouldn't be surprised if you saw it, if there was another executive order, if things are going to still be going.
6%.
I wouldn't be surprised if the executive orders came back. I
That
mean,
may
in a
be
couple
in-
more days, we're going to have a new governor.
they may even amend the law in general, but,
Yeah.
based on the amount of time that we've been operating under the COVID regulations, there's even been, I'll call them CLEs, but seminars with regards to the old open meetings law as more or less a refresher on how these meetings should be conducted, because the
But
COVID.
I think we're just going to have to wait and see.
And I appreciate everybody's patience as we try to navigate the ins and outs of accessibility. Tri-Town Coalition, I wondered if you don't mind if I could sit in or take your place for Wednesday, August 25th.
You
It's
could
a
take
virtual-
Leo's place,
Okay.
because he resigned from it and we need another person.
I think he is going to be at that meeting.
He could be at that meeting, but he would be at that meeting as an affordable housing chair.
I see.
But if you want to join, we'll put you on it.
But I understand.
I'll just notify Nathan Briggs.
Okay. So that's August 25th at 3 PM.
Yes,
I
that
just
would be wonderful, thank you.
want to
We
note
could
on
use
that,
another person.
on that topic, Leo did announce that he had resigned. In his meeting minutes for the last Housing Board meeting,
Have they been turned in?
in his meeting agenda, I'm sorry, I misspoke. In the agenda, he announced that he had resigned. But he also, in that agenda item, made an assertion that he felt Hudson River Housing has been completely useless, at least their real estate department. And I had a couple of people ask me about that, and I just want to clarify that that is not the position of the town of Amenia.
No, it isn't.
And just, want to put that out there, and leave it at that.
Okay, is there any other town board comment?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I have once again yellow roses out here. I just want you all, ladies, gentlemen too, to realize that the 26th of this month, women's right to vote became the law of the land. So, my mother would have been 100 years old this year, because it came on in the year when she was born. And my grandmother was not old enough to even vote when that law came into effect. She had to wait 2 years. Now, I know all of you women, you should look back at your history of your family. Follow your mothers and your grandmothers. I know my mother, of course, my mother. I knew my grandmother. My daughter knew me, her grandmother, and her great-grandmother. So when you go back into your, ladies and gentlemen, look into your family history, all of you, to see women really worked for, I think it was 75 or 76 years total to get this law, and they went through all kinds of things to get it. And it finally came down 100 years ago when a very nice young man from Tennessee, first year in the Tennessee House of, I guess, whatever it is, their Congress thing there, he was a Democrat, and they were convinced that, everyone was convinced that they were going to vote down the law because the Democrats had the balance, and they were voting it down. This young man's mother, when he was leaving to go there, she just told him, remember the women when you make this vote. And he did. He voted for us to get the vote, which astounded everybody all over the South there, because the South, mostly the South, was against the vote, and they had other reasons why. We won't go into that history. But when he was asked, he says, I was brought up to honor my mother and father. And so was I. So, ladies, you have the right to vote. You would not be seeing the women on this board here if we did not have the right to vote. And you vote your own conscience. I don't care what political party you join. Doesn't matter to me. But you need to get out and express your vote, especially in this day and age now. It's very crucial for us. So I just want to say that, because that means a lot to me. Because I have photos of my grandmother, and my great aunts, all in the white dresses, marching for the right to vote, which, by the way, was not an easy thing for them to do, because many problems arose from that. So the yellow rose is the rose that symbolizes us, and the white clothing symbolizes the women who were suffragettes, because they wore the white. So, ladies and gentlemen, think about your families, and think about this 100 years. So anyway, that's that spiel there. The one thing that I wanted to do is, I had the sign, remember the sign for the park, with the place we talked about? Jane from Stewart Signs, she called me and she wanted me to know that There are grants out now because of the COVID, that there are now grants that are especially designed to meet the COVID conditions for municipal towns like ours that we can qualify for. And I know Victoria and I, we spoke with our grant writer previous to Jane calling me saying, you know, we'd like to look at them. And she called me and said, I just want you to know, Michelle, there are these grants out now, and a town like our size can qualify for it.
Wasn't there something we had to change in our zoning law?
Yes, we
In
had,
order to have the signs, what would we have to do, Mike?
Mike, he told me that the lighting, what it had to say.
Oh, yeah, the LED lights, right now,
Oh, yeah.
Just for you.
we need to update the sign law for the LED laws. Right now, how it reads, I believe, no light bulb under plastic or anything.
Yeah.
And we have to change it to say we do allow light emitting diodes.
Yes.
They're not.
Is that something you could work on, Ian? Because we're going to have to do a public hearing. It'll be a local law.
Can we?
I think we had Town of Northeast had language, they did that, and
Town of Northeast did it, and I believe it's only for like gas station signs right now, fuel for the refills. Because I know we're still trying to get it for the American Legion to allow their new LED signs. The village has it because they did allow the firehouse to do it, but.
So you can, can you take a look at that and see what we need to do to upgrade that, upgrade the sign law?
Yeah, I can look at the current code and see what it says.
We did do something in Dover as well when I was down there. So.
I think we need to have a discussion, because that seems completely counter to the intent of the current law, which is to not allow illuminated signs. I mean, the nuance of a diode versus a bulb is really pushing it.
The thing is, it's the modern way. That's the way they
I know, but we don't
prefer.
allow illuminated
And what you have to
signs.
do is eliminate the luminosity and whether we allow them to be movable and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they only can change motion
Because I know
at a
the
certain,
sign,
We
or
don't-
not at all. That's
Yeah,
pretty
Currently,
much.
we don't allow any
Right.
illuminated
No.
signs at all, regardless of the
Yeah,
technology, right?
unless they're,
Indirectly lit.
yes.
Correct. So if we make a weird little carve out for LEDs, why would we not just permit illuminated signs?
That's generally why they just do them for like gas stations and all, so it's easier for them changing their pricing when they change it a couple times a day, so.
Yeah, and
but I don't think we should have a zoning sign law that just accommodates one type of business.
Well, I think we should, I'll have to look at the sign law as it exists, look at what the goal is or what the intent is, what we're trying to do, and then figure out a plan to get to that goal, if it's possible under the law. That would be the initial evaluation of what we do.
Because I know the sign law was one of the things the zoning committee was going to look at eventually. Because our sign law is very restrictive. If you look at it, I mean, it's really kind of ridiculous in places. I mean, it's very, it really needs to be upgraded. So, I mean, now would be a good time to do it. Since we would like to have a sign here with announcements,
Yeah.
whether they be for emergency, we have water available, or the town hall is open and the Red Cross is here, or just on regular meetings.
But
But,
we're
we-
exempt from our own zoning, right? So we could have a sign whenever we want.
Zoning you are.
But that's also arguably poor form.
Yeah, I don't think we should be the exception instead of the rule.
Yeah, there you go.
And I think in many of the towns that they're making it for the fire departments to have them and the schools to have them.
Schools are exempt.
Oh, they're exempt, oh, that's how they got it, okay.
The fire departments aren't,
No,
and
they-
neither is the VFW.
Perhaps the board may want to have the zoning committee address this now, and because it seems like
They're
it's-
not meeting right now.
Okay.
I think this is something that's been discussed off and on for a few years. I think we need to do it now.
Right. And especially if we're able to get a grant, which would be a great benefit to us if we can manage that, you know.
Yeah, I think we might be able to get a Greenway grant or something like that
Yeah.
for it.
So anyway.
But we need to have, we need to look at our own zoning and see what's, and make it more accommodating.
User-friendly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
So anyway, now that I just, got upset over the voting and got real time, I just want to, first I'm just going to mention, because the Amenia Fire Company gave me this. It's a vendor craft fair penny social.
It's Wassaic,
What did I say?
Amenia.
I'm sorry. And it says
I
it
just
right-
want to make sure people went to the
and
right
it's,
place.
it's right here, and it's right here written for
Yeah,
me.
I saw that before.
And so, Saturday, September 25th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. They're doing a penny social, a craft vendor fair, and there will be a winter coat drive there also, and a 50-50 raffle, and you can buy refreshments.
What time was that?
It's 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday, September 25th.
Okay.
So they gave me this sign to get out to everyone, and I wanted to do
And
that.
they're also doing a coat drive, right?
Yes, they are. They're doing a winter coat drive.
That's a great idea.
And I think it's been emailed to Mike already, and he's probably has it on the 22 for us, or it will be there soon. Okay, that takes care of that and Wassaic. Lake George trip. We had the Lake George trip yesterday, everyone. We had a wonderful time, and people have asked for future trips and what have you. The driver was Muhammad. He also works here as a constable in the town of Amenia. Very nice man, very pleasant, excellent driver. I had nothing but excellent comments about his driving from all the people on the bus. They enjoyed him so much, and they have requested that I request him for any future trips and things that we may be going to. So I think it was great. The bus was full. Oh my gosh. And sometimes, those people, sometimes it's like herding cats though, but we had a good time. We had an excellent time. And it drizzled a little bit, and people walked around the Lake George little town and stuff after that. It was a very nice time on the boat. Service was really good, really nice. And people had a good time. So upcoming, Victoria had asked me to look for another trip for us in October. I tried White Plains, but they're a little
That's the dinner theater. I think we're going to try them next year.
next year. I think so too. So I'm going to meet with Nancy, one of our secretaries, and ask her to write a letter to them from us requesting that our credit be deferred to next year in the spring when more things are coming, so we have a better hand on it, because they're not really that well. But
Yeah, they're not offering very many
no, they're not. They're not offering, and it's
things this year.
yeah. And also White Plains, some of the seniors said no. So I said, okay. But we're going to get a trip to the log cabin on Tuesday, October 18th. Right now, it's confirmed. I called the lady, Linda, and she said she was oh, Michelle, I'm so happy to hear from you. All this good talk we do.
So when is it?
It's Tuesday, October 18th.
19.
That's the 19th, this is Tuesday.
Well, then it's not Tuesday. I put the wrong day.
Okay, that's a Monday, then the 18th is a Monday.
Thank you. It's a Monday. It is the 18th.
The log cabin?
The log cabin. I know that's the right date. And anyway, so it's confirmed. She said, you've got it if you want it. It's there, it's done. And tomorrow I'll be getting the information. They send it on the email machine, you know that, and we'll be doing that. And so that'll be a really great trip for us. So sign up as soon as it comes out. I get that, I'll get the flyers out, I'll get them out to everyone, we'll get it on.
Now,
the
that's a
TV.
dinner, or?
Yes, it is. It is a dinner. Oh, let me tell you all that. It's a doo-wop. The Corvettes doo-wop, but they're doing their Oktoberfest meal. Hors d'oeuvres, welcome platter, complimentary glass of wine or beer, rolls and butter. Family style, Wiener Schnitzel, knockwurst and bratwurst, sauerkraut and sauteed red cabbage, German potato salad, apple strudel, coffee, tea, decaffeinated coffee. We will be arriving there at 11:30 in the morning and leaving there like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And the Corvettes will do, it's a doo-wop review.
Now, that isn't that far from here, though, is it?
No, it's not. And you're right, I wrote the wrong date. Thank you. It is the 19th, not the 18th, so it
Oh,
is
it's the
Tuesday.
18th?
Good. I have it written right here, and I make up my own. Of course, yesterday was the 18th, and that's when we went to Lake George, so that was in my brain, which should not have been there. It should have been,
Now, is that in Connecticut or Massachusetts?
it's in Holyoke, Massachusetts.
Yeah, I thought it was either Connecticut or Massachusetts.
And it's going to be on the 19th, so I'll have the right information. Good thing I bring the papers, otherwise I'd forget. The Corvettes doo-wop review is dedicated to preserving and performing the greatest music ever made, the music of the 50s doo-wop era from New Hampshire to New Orleans and Virginia to Vegas. The Corvettes performed the great music of the doo-wop era with a fresh new energy. Their incredibly entertaining show and comical stage antics have left many happy audiences screaming for more. Rock Around the Clock, In the Still of the Night, Run Around Sue, Run Away, Palisades Park, Twisted the Night Away, Splish Splash.
In other words, a blast from the past.
There it is. And I know there people are going to be saying, what
Bill
does
Haley in the
that,
comments lives again.
what is that music? What does that mean? Who ever heard of it? But it's something that's really great. So everyone, please sign up when that thing comes out. You're going to have a wonderful time. We had a wonderful time yesterday, and we'll have a wonderful time. Also, the pond, our Christmas party will be on Wednesday, December 8th. I'll have details to follow. It's a sit-down dinner. I'll be meeting with the owner of the pond and work out that meal for us and what's going to be happening. I'm also looking into 2022 trips, trying to get a little bit of a thing together. And basically, ladies and gentlemen, except from giving you the wrong, today's not the 18th, it's today, the 19th?
Today's the 19th. All day.
All day, and I put 8, I wrote, today was the 18th, and it's not, it's the 19th.
Okay, are there any other town board comments?
I actually forgot one. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No, that's okay. I just want to make sure I got
Amenia
everybody.
Lions Club dinner is on December 4th.
First.
If you have not gotten your tickets yet, I bought mine from Paul Winters, and Paul is committed to beating Wayne Uvard in number of tickets sold, and I am supportive of Paul's ambitions. So,
I
great
already
cause.
have mine. Not from Wayne.
Okay, all right.
I get mine for my girlfriend every year.
For a great cause. It's apparently a great time. I've never been.
Oh my God, it's a
This
great
will be
time.
my first time.
The food's
Oh,
great.
Yeah.
So please, if you can support, come on out. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other town board comments? If not, I make a motion to go into executive session for personnel matters, LT's contract negotiations, and pending litigation. Is there
I
a
will
second?
second that.
Victoria, may I quick say something?
Yes.
First? Just to let the board know, I've been here doing this 17 years, and as of this week, we've got an all-time record for 1 year. I've issued 22 single-family homes permits already this year. I've never seen that many in the 17 years.
Wow.
Traditionally, we might 5 or 6 a year. We've done,
Are those new homes? or-
yes, they're all new homes.
Silo Ridge.
No, they're not
No,
all
it
Silo
isn't.
Ridge.
No?
Actually, this week, one was Tally Ho,
Yes.
and one was May Lane.
Yes.
So, you know, it's through the whole town. The majority is probably Tally Ho and Silo Ridge, but
Yeah.
I think we've replaced 5 or 6 trailers this year in
At
Tally
least,
Ho.
at
so,
least.
You know, so,
Are those with single-family homes in
yes.
a permanent home, not a mobile home?
Yeah, well, the new mobile homes are considered single-family homes, so. And just so the public knows, I have no secretary this coming week, so the building office will be a little slow because Judy's on vacation, so. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, thank you,
Mike.
Mike. Now, can we vote?
That was seconded by Damien.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Jim, actually,
Jim?
but, okay, I'll take it.
I'll give it to Jim if you say it was Jim.
Give it to
I'd
Jim.
I'm gonna go back and look, but excuse me. So Supervisor Prody,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez.
Oh, and I would like, before we vote, that the town clerk is excused. And the executive session will be with the town attorney.
And for the record, just take a minute.
I'll do it.
Supervisor Prody,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Samoji.
Yes.
And the time currently is 9:10.